What is up, ninjas? My name is Sam World, and in today's video I'm going to make my first ever fat juicy techno kick inside of Ableton's Operator. Now, I'm a Serum boy, and what that means is I use Serum for everything sound design related, but I have seen on YouTube people making tutorials about making kicks with Operator, which, you know what, I can see how they can do it. So today I'm going to do my first attempt at it utilizing, again, Operator. With that being said, guys, if you want to support the channel, make sure to head over to evilsounds.com where you can find all of my sound design work. Paradox is the series you want to check out if you're into techno. Got a massive Serum sound sets on there. Paradox Volume 1 and 2. Make sure to check them out. With that being said, let's get started with this video, guys. So, alright guys, so here we are inside of Ableton's Operator. Now, there are two tools I use whenever I make kick drums, and that is going to be the LFO tool and Voltsengo Span. Voltsengo Span is going to come in later on, but the LFO tool is always going to be up, and the reason for that is, think of this as a UAV where you can see where the enemy's at, so we can blow them out of the way with a big kick. No, but in reality, you know, the theory behind making kick drums, guys, is you're gonna have the transient of a kick, which is usually gonna be the initial hit, and I'll let you know when we're making stuff what I'm working on, and then the body of the kick, which is usually gonna be the low end of the kick. With knowing this, I usually want to make room for the transient in the beginning, and from there the low end comes in. So usually that entails utilizing the envelope, the attack, decay, sustain, release in order to achieve that, but usually just the attack. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started here. So I have here set up just some MIDI notes on the key of F, which is going to change as the tutorial progresses because the kicks usually sound better lower or upper depending on the style you have, but I have that set to F like so. Now when I press play, you're going to see that LFO tool is going to show us the shape of the kick. So that's the most important thing right there. So here we're going to have this set to 0 dB. Now from here, I want to, you know, first thing I want to do is put a pitch envelope to this, as this is what's going to give the kick the knock. The initial here, I'm going to set it to 0. Now, I have used Operator before, so that's why I know how to maneuver through it. But again, I've never made a kick with it, so that's the cool thing. So we know we need a pitch envelope. In kick theory, when you're making kick drums, if you're going to be making everything from scratch, then you have to go with this because we want to give the kick the knock. From here, the decay controls the pitch speed going from really high, 12 ST, down back to the original. From here, we can go higher up to get that knock, and you can already see it sounding a little bit like a techno kick, 909-ish, so that's how a 909 kick is made, which always entails the question, yo, Sam, should I put my kick in key? Like Steve Duda said once, a lot of the times there's no point unless the kick was made utilizing a stable sub. So the sub on the kick always stays on, let's say, F, and it doesn't have a pitch modulation where it's constantly changing the pitch. Okay, so let's lower the volume a little bit so we don't blow ourselves there. We know that's there. And we're just going to play around with it. Okay, from there, it's time to shape the kick. So first off, we're going to work on the low end part. Now, inside of Operator, we have here algorithms, and what that means is how everything is set up. Remember, Operator is an FM synth, and if you don't know what that is, just check a tutorial on it because I don't want to make this video too long just going on stuff like this. But I can change the way stuff is formed. So instead of, you know, D going into C, going into B, going into A, I'm not that type of dude. I like to only mess with one. Then I'm going to go with this guy here where C, A is by itself, and it doesn't get modulated, or sorry, FM by any of the guys above. And then here, this green guy B does, so that way we can have fun. So A is going to be the body of the kick, and B, C, D are going to be the transient, okay? So I think that's pretty simple there, so we're going to split it up like that. From there, we're going to lower down sustain on this guy and shape the kick. How long do you want it to be? And I think maybe we can go a little bit around there. Now the next step here is very important, and this is where my sound designer comes out, because this is how I like to work on stuff. It's all about theory, knowing how to make kicks and how they work, not just throwing a bunch of saturators on expecting for the best. So the idea here is that we're going to make a bit of attack to make room for our transient of the kick, which is going to be coming in the beginning. So we're going to move this forward. And that's going to be the tail of my kick, or the body, which is low end. From there, now we can bring in B. And now we're going to shape B. So we're going to turn off A. And with B, I'm going to obviously make room. So we made room for it. So now we can bring it together. And that sounds so much better than just laying a bunch of signs on top of each other expecting for the best. So again, it's all theory at this point. I think this is theory. So yeah, so then we can play with the attack, maybe and shorten this. Okay, so we have that. Okay, now it's time to kind of mess with the transient, make it a little bit interesting. Okay, so from here, with C, maybe we can. Now what's happening here is this sine wave is going into this B sine wave, and the idea is that you're gonna start to add upper harmonics. So notice as I bring this up, all these new added frequencies. That's usually what FM and the way FM works like. But again, you can switch the wave to a soft, and you start to get different sort of results out of that. Now from here, I'm gonna give this the same value as this, 245. Sustain down and 245. Because again, remember, we're just making the transient for this guy. We're making the click. We don't want too much low end information where it's just gonna come together and give us a mess. So that's the idea of this. So we can kind of go with that. From there, we can utilize this filter to sort of like reduce some of the highs from it, you know? The problem with this operator, again, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't route B to the filter while A doesn't go there. That's something I don't like. But we can mess with it. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just messing around with the synth, adding a bit of level. Again, you get the idea here. D is going into C, which is going into B. So C is getting FM by D, and then C is going to FM B. Think of it how you want. But again, we're just having fun. Maybe let's take it easy. Let's not get too crazy. Usually simplicity is best. So we can be fine with this. Okay, so from here, it's time to saturate, okay? And this is where the kick comes to life because everything gets saturated together. Now, if you've done a good job and you have given room to everything, your saturation should sound pretty decent as you do it. It shouldn't sound like a big ass fart. And excuse my language, I know YouTube's very NAC about it. So anyways. Okay, so that's sounding good. Let's lower it down. Take it. Okay, no, that's a little too much. Just play around. Okay, cool. Let's play around with this a bit more. Maybe the filter, we can kind of close this so that way the highs don't get superly pronunciated by saturation. I've made a video on how to use saturation and what it's actually doing if you want to watch it, by the way, just so you understand. Now here with the filter, I'm adding a resonation somewhere. This is a really cool hardstyle technique. So how you get those kind of vibes on the kick, if you're making super hard kicks, essentially you're pushing the resonance really high up where it self oscillates, but it creates this really kind of vibe. Again, we're not trying to make that kind of kick, so. I think that does some really one. Now let's play around with the. So I think I'm good here. So let's try out some stuff. Now, what I want to do here is I want to grab an audio effect rack. And the idea of this is that I still feel we're lacking a bit of highs. You know, the kick doesn't sound that airy. So again, I just don't want to grab a sample. I want to make everything from scratch in a way. So we're going to have the normal kick here. And then we're going to have a top. That way we can maybe mess with this a bit more and get something out of it. Use it as a source that we can manipulate to get what we want from it. So obviously we're going to get rid of low. And maybe try to find a way where we can kind of have more of those highs. So we can maybe try an amp or a saturator. We're going to oversample. Sounding a little better. Let's check out the span and LFO tool, of course. This thing is very maxed out, I'll tell you that much. Again, I'm looking at this just to make sure. Don't want to get too carried. Maybe we can try Wave Shaper. We'll mess with that. Let's lower it down though. Okay, so let's see. We can maybe try an amp as well. That always does produce some really good stuff depending on what we use. That's more of a click that we can kind of mess with. It's making a fucking kick out of a click. Signal flow of stuff, so we want to EQ afterwards again, because you can see how much it brings in. Okay, so once I have all of that, let's assume that's a kick I kind of wanted to make. We're going to hit an MB on this. Now, usually when I do sound design sessions and kicks for packs, I do this like constantly for a month. I have like 2-hour sessions, and I bounce out all the kicks. And then the best ones obviously make the cut. The worst ones, they just see the depths of hell inside of my Mac's trash. And there's a lot of good stuff in there, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so once we have that, we can kind of start to play around with like compression a bit on it. So I'm going to go with a bit of multiband dynamics, play around with that, and see if we can maybe shape this a little differently. While I'm doing this, I do want LFO tool and Vatsengo span up, of course, just to frequency response as well as what's going on. So I got to bring these guys up because they come down. So there we go. Okay, so let's increase the volume on this. Brace your ears. And again, we can mess with... Okay, so I'm liking the way it's looking. There's a couple of things raising red alarms. My mid-highs are not high enough, so maybe we can mess with this. Okay, a little less. Okay, let's see if we can move this down. I want that click. I want it so bad. Okay, let's bring it up. Now, with the kick, obviously, we have the attack. So let's set this to around 40. Yeah, there we go. 40, 50 there. That's to allow the transient to pop through at least. And let's make a... Don't worry about those things. We can always fix them. And don't worry about clipping either, to an extent. I'm doing that. So with LFO 2, I'm going to cut this a bit, just like so. So I can see how the kick's going to sound like final product, because it's not going to be that long. I'm going to EQ. I feel like there's just too much mid-lows that I don't want in the kick. This guy here, just a bit down. And I am going to boost maybe here in the kick. Give it a little bit of knock. And then accentuate this a little. Okay, so let's say we have this kick. Okay, it's gonna sound very heavy. Let's see if we get rid of it. Boxy as shit. That should fix it. Now, usually what I'll do is I'll resample the kick. So I'll go like so. Maybe with LFO tool off. So that way we have its glory and we can shape a little better. We don't have LFO. Okay. Once we have that, we can kind of look at it. It's very important just to see how everything's looking. And we can kind of start to maximize it. Now that I have the kick resampled, I can shape it to what I want. And I'm probably going to go halfway like this. So once I have the kick resampled and I have it like right here in wave format, I can reshape it. So I'm going to kind of pull it back and I'm going to use the fade here to get that. So you can kind of see. From there, depending on which sample pack company you use, a lot of them do maximize. If you're using Vengeance, you're going to notice that a lot of the LUFs here are going to go very high up to -9. So that's what we're going to do to the kick, so that we make it knock. And again, we're looking for -9. And again, yeah, it's very hard. Then from there, maybe we can run like a preset, like a punchy limit. Let's see, maybe a squeeze. That's going to give us that. Now, there are a couple of other things I can do to the kick. Personally, this is my own flavor. Sometimes I'll run like a tape machine on it, like Ozone 9, let's say we can put that. And from there, I do run like low. So just get the low end a little bit more compressed and the high sounding a little warmer. We can run maybe increased warmth. And you can see what it does to the sound overall. We can I personally like this one more, lower speed. You can hear how the high end changes. And that gives it just a nice little kind of knock. From there, we can resample again if you want, but we won't. You can run a transient shaper to even shape it further. The idea of the transient shaper is, let's say you think the transient should pop out more, then we can utilize that. So, but you got to be really careful with this stuff at this point because the kick's already maximized out. All right, so again, we can clip it. Okay, and then, well, we'll put the reverb at the end. Now, with all of that out of the way, guys, the last step I always do is I test out the kick. And usually I run a couple of loops. So what I've done is I've utilized one sound from Paradox Volume 2, which is going to sound like this. Okay, I'm just doing a bit of EQ on that guy. And from there, I grabbed a drum loop from Splice, which not the greatest. There's a bit of a hum in it, whatever. And then I have this master set up right now with Ozone 9 preset running electronic clarity. And of course, I've ran the kick through a Techno Rumble, and I've made a tutorial on this, but there's a lot of great tutorials out there if you want to check each one out and see which one you like the most. We're going to have that. And then from there, we're going to play it all together and just test it out. Okay, so as you guys can see there, that's going to be the test. From there, if the kick makes the cut, I'll save it. You know, from there, it's just kind of exporting it. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do. Obviously, Command L. You're going to solo it, and then you're going to go File and Export Audio and Video and call it whatever you want. All right, guys, and that's going to be my first attempt at making a big, fat, juicy techno kit inside of Ableton's Operator. I hope you learned something while watching, or it was entertaining to an extent. I know a lot of people don't like sound design, but for me, it's something that I love doing. It calms my nerves. I have anxiety, and just focusing in on something like this, trying to get it right, is always a good thing. With that being said, guys, if you want to support the channel and you like some of the leads you heard here, you can support Paradox Volume 2 over at evilsounds.com. With that being said, you guys take care, and I'll catch you guys next time for another video.